Chefs of Reddit, what are some things people should learn to cook while self-isolating? Pizza dough. It's extremely easy, and fresh dough is delicious. Pick your 3 favorite things you eat often. Search the web for recipes. Serious Eats, America's Test Kitchen, Food 52 are reputable sites that do good testing and aren't just a single self-proclaimed expert with a blog. Look at different recipes and note differences. Try them and tweak to your taste. I think the best thing home cooks can do with this time is figure out their perfect version of a favorite classic to impress friends and family with when this is over. But don't think about what chefs think is cool. Think about what you already like. Banana bread is useful for when you overbuy bananas. Fried rice. It's super easy to make. You can put almost anything in it, and it holds up well as leftovers. Stew. OMG, is it comforting, and you can use whatever you have, usually or chili. Any soup that gets better for a few days after you make it. Learn how to make stocks. Stock is literally just waste product. Vegetables, bones, the parts you aren't going to eat. Cook them nice and slow for hours, even overnight, with some basic seasonings. Bay leaves, peppercorns, garlic. Great base for soups. Sauces. Is a great way to limit waste and can really help extend the yield from any product you buy. When in the position where you may not know where your next paycheck is coming, it's really important to get the most out of any food you buy. Edit. Since this is getting popular, here's a few tips. 1. Never boil your stock. Low and slow is the tempo. A low simmer is the most you want. 2. If using whole herbs, wrap them in cheesecloth and tie it off. This will make straining it much easier. 3. Use a ladle periodically through the cooking process to skim any fat soils off the top. Edit. 2. Since a lot of people have asked, yes, a crock pot on low will work perfect for stock. It may take a full 24 hours to finish, though. Just practice with adding herbs and spices to things. A great tip is to smell the dish, then smell the herb. If they smell right, then it's a good thing to add. Practice with this will help you tailor meals to your personal taste and make your stuff have that little extra something. Bread. It's easy to learn, fun to make, and makes your house smell awesome. I actually cook for a living, and I'm unemployed now. I've been eating in order of expiration. First I have to get rid of milk and eggs, then celery, onions, carrots, potatoes, then frozen food, then pantry. So I ate pancakes for over a week, with a side of potato stew or mashed potatoes. Pancakes with just barely enough egg to form up. Being conservative, I almost had enough maple syrup to last, but I had to eat the last couple days with regular syrup. A good noodle or rice dish. Both can be stored well. Also, baking your own bread is a treat. Get good at making beans. A good bean dish, simple as it may appear, gives you insight into important food cooking processes. Dried beans can be soaked and fermented. You will need to cook the beans in a pressure cooker or pot on the stove for a decent amount of time. Once the beans are soft and tender, you will notice how much better they are than ones from a can. What texture do you want your beans? Keep them whole, mashed or fried. Add spices and or sauces to get the taste just the way you like it. Beans are a good way to practice getting your flavors on point, and teaches you to follow your tongue rather than a set amount of salt or oil etc. from a recipe. Home cooked beans are also something that can be done really cheaply. You just need to have a little foresight. Another quality of good cooks, one of the biggest jumps in quality, for example, is using good homemade beans in Mexican food as opposed to ones from a can. Chef for 10+ years. Homemade tomato sauce. Freezes well and has so many applications. Put your own spin on it. Risotto. It's fairly easy to make, and it impresses everyone when you make it for them. Plus, once you master the basic risotto, there are a million variations of it. Learn to pickle. It's way easier than you think, and many things can be pickled for flavor in an afternoon with nothing but a jar and some vinegar. I like pickled red cabbage and onions. Learn to make actually good salads, not that Olive Garden bullcrap. Integrate those delicious pickled vegetables you made. Buy some fancy cheese to put in there. Add some protein, bacon, egg, grilled chicken work. Salads are meals when done right. Just take care of yourself. Eat healthy now, and take care of your body. It's gonna be a long time until this goes away. Take care of yourselves, and don't fall into unhealthy habits, just because nobody is there to judge you. I really wanted to try my hand at making Nye pizza. I'm from Jersey, and live in Utah where pizza is not so good, but I still can't find any flour at the store. Basic knife skills. Invest in a proper chopping board and some proper knives. Being at someone's house and watching them cut an onion with a paring knife on a little plastic chopping board is painful. Curry, chili, pesto, marinara, broth, stew, bread, pita, hummus, roasted vegetables. Bread. Don't go telling me you don't have the time for it. Not a chef. Learn how to make rice. Jesus. No bags or boxes or instant. Just regular rice. Break down a chicken and make broth with the bones. Those little birds go a long way. It's not one particular dish. It's what to have in your pantry. Pantry staples and techniques. Flour, sugar, salt, pepper, baking soda, baking powder, olive oil, butter, eggs, milk. Oats or nut milk works. Peanut butter. The most important being flour, salt, and olive oil. You can make so many things out of these ingredients. Flavor the fat. Fat and sugar are where your flavor lies. Use sugar. I use honey to flavor your fat. I usually use butter. The technique is called creaming, and it's essential for lots of dishes. Low and slow is the way to go. People would rather eat a decent burger that took 15 hours to cook than a burnt burger that took 2 minutes to ruin. Use easy, simple and 3 ingredient meter tags when searching recipes. Edit. Forgot to say, if you want to make something to last, look up hardtack or Seabiscuit recipes. Eggs. They should practice with their knives. Good knife skills save a cook time and injury and promote confidence in the kitchen. Cooks should also practice maximizing their space. Clean off your counters and give yourself some room. Also, practice meal planning. Homemade Alfredo is incredibly easy. Tastes way better than the jarred stuff. I cook a lot of soups these days, a dish commonly eaten during impoverished war times throughout history. Soups can be very versatile in terms of what ingredients can be used. It's also a good way to use up the small bits of vegetables you cut off the outer layer of an onion and the dried outer parts of leeks, for example, and thus not wasting anything. Once cooked down and tender, it adds great taste to your concoction. I usually save these parts and collect them in big bags in the freezer for use in soups. 2 of my to-go is carrot, onion, sweet potato, chili, ginger, coconut milk soup and potato, leek soup. I just cut up the vegetables, salt them with a little bit oil, season it with whatever spices there is in hand, add water, cook until tender, blend until smooth with immersion blender, add cream, milk or coconut milk if there is any at hand. Serve. If there is any meat proteins you can always fry it up and add into the soup. Serve it with homemade bread and you got yourself a cheap yet hearty delicious meal. A simple roast chicken. I'm not a chef, but my mom is a very proficient cook. She has lupus and got a cold. I pretty much forced her to stay in bed and I did all the cooking. First I made soup. Soup is very fun and very easy to make. You can add many different spices after you add the base vegetables and make a completely different dish based on what different spices you add. Then I made spaghetti. with cabbage noodles and Italian sausage. Cabbage can sound gross to anyone who has eaten it cooked improperly, but when you cook it right, it tastes just like noodles. My parents are keto, so I made them cabbage noodles. First I seared them, so they became a little soft. Then I boiled them in the red sauce for 10ish minutes. They were perfect. Then I made lemon garlic chicken. I started typing the recipe out for this and realized I don't quite remember it well enough to do any good lol. If you Google it and make your own tweets you will be fine. The only exception is, I did it in a cast iron skillet and browned the chicken beforehand. And then baked it until it was falling off the bone and crispy. Then I made buttered chicken. My mother has always prided herself on making many different dishes from different cultures. Because her white parents only made dishes from canned items. So I made buttered chicken. If you Google it, you can find some very good recipes. I hate when it turns out suppy though. So just make sure you add enough Greek yogurt so that it doesn't turn out suppy. Making this was an adventure. And if you have never made Indian food it is a wonderful way to start. Pasta. It's easy to make, and you can put any type of topping on it, protein, vegetables, butter, olive oil, etc. It's cheap, it's filling, it's simple, and very limited amounts of dishes to wash afterwards. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more Reddit content.